Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Joe and Mike, Build Assets Online. Today with one of our students, Keith, not a new student, but a student in the UK hitting some big numbers. Welcome to the show, Keith. Glad to have you on and excited to discuss your journey with us here.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, good to be here.
Awesome, man. So where are you coming from, Keith? You said you were in Europe in one place. Now you're traveling.
Yeah, so I'm a bit all over the place. Today I'm in Cardiff in Wales. I literally just got here, but most of the time now I live in Warsaw in Poland with my wife. But obviously, originally I'm from the UK in Northern Ireland. And that's why I've spent most of my time in the UK, and that's why I decided to run stores in the UK.
Are you living like a UK, not a UK, but like a European nomad lifestyle of sorts?
Yes. So being from Northern Ireland, I can have both a British passport and an Irish passport. Well, obviously Britain's not in the EU, but Ireland is. So because I've got an Irish passport, I can live anywhere in Europe, and there's no issues tax-wise or visa-wise or anything like that.
Oh, that's pretty sick. So I guess let's jump right into it. So yeah, I feel like you've been around for a while, and I feel like I've done coaching calls with you like almost it feels like years ago. But I guess when did you start getting into this? What drove you to do it, and how did we get here?
What you mean with high ticket or just?
I guess from the beginning, like were you working a job or?
Yeah, so I'm still working a job. So I still work full time. That's why I'm in Wales. So tonight I'm doing a night shift on a railway line in the valleys of Wales. But yeah, I got into it probably 2018 with low ticket first, as most people do. I built I bought a little course from Udemy. It was like a $20 course. I followed it. I built a crappy website. Didn't sell anything, lost a lot of money, and then kind of gave up. My first store was called R Selection, like a pirate going R. So there's a really long, crappy domain name, and it was basically selling men's jewelry, not wedding rings, but yeah. And I thought that was a great idea, and then no one had done it before, and obviously lots of people had, and it failed. And then I kind of gave up. And then in around about sort of 2020, obviously COVID happened. And I was living in London at the time. I sort of escaped COVID and went to South Africa because I used to live there. And at the time, there was a lockdown in London. I managed to escape. And in South Africa, everyone was free. And I met like a friend of a friend. He was like, I'd never met before. We met in a bar. And we got some beers, which was actually banned at the time in Cape Town. But we found some bar that would sell us beers. And I just remember the two of us sat there getting to know each other, having the crack. And he had his phone on the bar top, and it just kept going cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And I noticed it was like the little Shopify logo, and I was like, "What are you doing there? Like, Shopify actually works?" Because I didn't really know how it worked. And he was like, "Yeah, mate." And so he kind of inspired me to look back into it. And so then again, I started, but I didn't really know who to follow, what to follow. My friend wasn't doing drop shipping. He actually gets products made himself and sells them. He does quite well, but obviously uses Shopify. But then, I didn't know where to look. I just started looking like everyone does, drop shipping, YouTube. And I found some guy that made a website for me. Like I spent like £1,000, and this guy made a really nice website selling mobile gaming accessories. So obviously low ticket again. So I gave that a go for 6 months, lost a load of money. Then I tried another course, which was all about TikTok, drop shipping. This was all before me about you guys. So I probably in that course I must have built like 13 websites myself. It was basically you build a one product store, you test it. And I remember on like the 10th store, I thought it was doing well. I was out in a bar in Moscow, of all places, and my phone kept going ching, 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 ching. And I had lots of sales, and I was like, finally, it's working. And then I woke up the next morning and checked the ad spend, and it was double what I got in revenue. Uh, so then I sacked all that. Basically, this is obviously when I realized low ticket wasn't working. One of my friends actually recommended your course. I had never heard of high ticket dropshipping, and this was November 2021, I think.
Who was it?
It was a guy called Steve. He's an Irish guy. He bought your course,
Yeah.
but he openly admits he's never followed it through. Like he's not.
I wonder how many of those are out there. But anyway, continue.
Oh yeah. So anyway, then I think that was November 2021. I built the store pretty quick because obviously by this stage I was pretty good at Shopify.
Mhm.
I got the concept made complete sense to me. And I just remember like one of the things on the course, it said, yeah, make sure you choose a good niche, but don't think too long, just get started. And I think I took that just get started part too seriously and I didn't think about the niche. So I launched my first store early 2022. And it didn't do well at all. I kept that going for about 2 years, up until the end of end of last year.
Mhm.
And I think overall I lost about, if I include your course, I lost about 11 or 12,000 pounds on that store.
It was 11,000 pounds.
Just over the 2 years. So some months I would make a slight profit, other months I would lose money. But I think what I did wrong with that store is my average product price was too low. There was a lot of competition. Every time I made a sale, the margins were crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of other problems along the way. Like I got banned from Google Ads. Well, before I even started high ticket dropshipping, I got a permanent ban from Google Ads. I think I told you guys before I started this course. And then when I started this course, I set up a new ad account and a completely new identity, new everything. And then even that about a year into my first store, that got done for misrepresentation, which you guys know a lot about now because I see it's been a big topic on the Discord. And then when that happened, that first store took even more of a dive. And yeah, I was losing motivation, to be honest. And that's what kind of was the instigator for this new store that I started last year, sort of May, June of August last year. Because I explained the situation to my friend that I spoke about, who had all the Shopify ching-chings. And he said, well, why don't we just do a store together and use it in his identity, the Google Ads? And that's what we've done. So it's kind of a partnership. This new store, it's in a niche that we're both very interested in. It's kind of closely linked to his first business. And yeah, that's kind of how I got to this store. Yeah, I don't know if you've got any questions.
I guess it's just crazy that the other one went on for so long, just losing money. Did you realize that was happening, and it was just kind of a slow burn, or it's like you look back and you're like, oh?
I realized it was happening, and I think it's kind of related to because I've always had a full-time job at the same time. I was losing a bit of money each month, but I was like, I can afford it. And I didn't have like that killer drive to go, right, I need to make this work. And yeah, I remember, Mike, we had quite a few calls where you looked at my ad account. yeah, I don't think I was doing anything massively wrong that way. In hindsight, I just think I should have pivoted a lot earlier. I should have been actively adding more products and brands,
Mhm.
because I kind of just built it and then it wasn't doing much, but I wasn't trying really hard to um, make it work, especially after the Google Ads thing. It was kind of just um,
Yeah.
it was a bit demoralizing, but I knew the thing that kept me going was probably actually being part of this group, um, and seeing the share your wins section of people posting screenshots of $100,000 months, and I'm like, you bastards! Surely this can't be real, and obviously it is. And to be honest, it was stuff like that that kept me going, because I would share that with my friends, going, "This is what's possible." Um, and yeah, it's good having that sort of accountability as well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And kind of going back to the niche selection part, I do want to get into the differences between like what you see in the UK as far as some of the differences.
Mhm.
And because obviously there's like no map and yeah, just different circumstances. But kind of when we talk about, oh, just get started,
Yeah,
don't think too much about it. Kind of the idea is that you can pivot later because you're never going to be able to do all the research to figure out, hey, this is going to make me this much amount of money versus a different supplier or a different set of products. You have to just get in and do it.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think sometimes when people have money coming in other ways,
Yeah,
it adds a bit of complacency, to make something work because you're comfortable, right? You
yeah,
need that edge sometimes to yeah, take you over that hump. So I guess let's talk about the new store, because I think when we talked last, and then it must have been a while ago, but we were looking at both stores,
yeah,
and then the new one you had made was kind of just getting off the ground, and I was like,
yeah,
hey, you got a bunch of big products on here, like, um, I think I was actually a little bit skeptical that you'd be
yeah.
able to do well with it because of how high ticket some of the products were. So why don't we get into that?
Yeah. So it was a slow start, and actually, I forgot to mention, this is actually my third high ticket store
Hmm.
on this program. I did start another one in the sort of mobility niche, and I tried to do mobility scooters. Um, and
In the
yeah,
UK.
in the UK, and very
Okay.
quickly realized after setting up the demo store and reaching out to suppliers, they started asking me for some license that I can't remember the name of. But I was like, yeah, I don't have that license. Um,
Are
and
those
you need
popular in the UK? I thought those are only for like fat Americans.
they're,
Exactly.
they're popular for old people. And no offense to old people, but like what I also realized in my first store is that they are a pain to deal with. So, but they're very popular. There's a lot of like care homes and things like that. So there's good opportunities for B2B and all of that. So yeah, there's definitely a market there. It's just you need to be legally registered to do that here,
Right.
which we weren't. But anyway, so yeah, bend off that one, and then again, this one we did do the sort of niche selection together. We considered lots of different ones, and then this one we kind of both had an interest in. Uh, yeah, we just we find a nice domain name, a nice logo, and yeah, we liked the look of it.
Hmm.
But in the beginning, it was slow. So the brands were like most of the big brand names were very difficult to get hold of, especially in the UK, and most of them would want you to have a physical showroom. That is one of the biggest differences, I think. Obviously, I've not had a store in the US, but I think a lot of UK suppliers, they're not as familiar with how it works, and a lot of them you have to explain. Um, Look, we will do the marketing for you. We will deal with the customers. We will do all this for you. All you have to do is send the product, and that works with some of them, but there is a lot of UK suppliers that are against it, unless you have bricks and mortar. Um, well, So in the first few months, like I said, we started July, August 23, and it was just about breaking even. And I think that's when I was making the calls with you, Mike. And then sort of April or May this year, well, it was actually March or April, I got an email from a supplier in Europe that sells a product, but it's obviously a very small manufacturer. I remember looking at this product going, yeah, it looks nice, but it does have a brand name, so it's not going to sell. It it doesn't have like good specs. The guy literally makes it in his own little factory, and I kind of put it to one side and never really thought much about it. And then when we weren't getting many new suppliers on board, I thought, okay, stuff it. I'll just put this product on the website and see what happens. And then, like a few weeks later, it just started selling. It was
Wow.
it was just doing really well. And I couldn't believe it because it doesn't have a brand name. It doesn't like they didn't even have like most suppliers will make professional photographs and all this. Like this guy literally just took photos of it in his warehouse, his iPhone or whatever, and I was like, okay, try to make them look as good as possible. But that started selling really well, and that got us into the whole importing from Europe, and now we import I would say, more than half of our sales are from imports. But that sort of supplier that reached out to us kind of opened the door. I was like, holy shit, there's a big market here.
So let me ask you this. So that supplier, I guess when you go and look back at the ads or whatever it was that was getting the sales, like, do you know what it was that maybe moved the needle? Because in the US, a lot of times we talk about like, yeah, brand demand is very important, and it is. But when a product, let's say, is well priced in the marketplace, like I've given this example a number of times, like we used to sell tubs, and we had a tub that was like $2,000, and then we had a tub that was like $800. Obviously, the $800 one would sell well in the generic marketplace. So, yeah, what moved the needle, you think?
Yeah, I think it was the price. So it was a lot cheaper than like a similar product that everybody else was selling. And that's another thing about this product. I'm pretty sure we've got exclusive rights on it in the UK because we built a relationship with a supplier very early. We've been twice to see them in their country. We'll see them again. Next week, we're going to some sort of trade show in Germany where lots of our suppliers are going to be.
Oh, nice.
But it was the price and the quality for that price, because in this sort of space, a lot of people will sell really crappy stuff, like with poor build quality, poor materials, and yeah, from the first few sales, we were getting really good feedback. So much so that now we've actually moved away from drop shipping that product. We actually stock it in a warehouse in London.
Wow.
Because,
going all in.
Yeah. We've actually got probably got about 100 grand's worth of stock.
What's the mindset there?
The mindset was we discovered very quickly that if you import one of these products, you will pay up to 2,000 euros or dollars at a time for one. Whereas if you import 12, you pay the same price. So obviously 2,000 divided. So the shipping charges alone. But obviously we verified that it sells first. So we were drop shipping them initially. And now we stock them. We can offer them a lot cheaper as well, so they sell quicker.
Do any of your suppliers have MAP?
No.
Okay.
Apart from, two of them enforce prices. Yes, but there's no such thing as MAP in the UK. We would prefer it, obviously. But But yeah, there is a bit that, and that was one of the main reasons for my previous failure in my first store, because that was just furniture,
Right.
and furniture in the UK there's no map. It's basically a race to the bottom. But most sort of the products in the new website, they don't have map, but most people kind of keep their prices similar.
Yeah, because I think you had mentioned something like that when we had called, and it was so long ago. But obviously, it's like, how do they enforce it?
Yeah,
Just
so they basically they just tell you. I've had it a couple of times where the supplier will email you and go, "You need to up your prices. If you don't, you can't supply our products anymore."
okay, so kind of like a de facto map. It's not
Yeah,
here in the U.S. Sometimes you have to sign like map agreements that basically are like, you can't do this, you can't do this, more strict terms. But yeah, I
yeah,
guess here or there in the UK, it's more of a handshake agreement.
yes.
Um, yeah. So, what the hell was I going to say? I guess when it comes to selling these products, um, I guess as far as your Google ads, so are you running a lot of Google ads for them, or are you doing a lot of like SEO, or what's kind of the key,
Yeah.
you think?
So yeah, we obviously do Google Ads. I manage all of that, but I'll be completely honest. Google Ads is still a bit of a black box for me. I'm scared of it because I've been banned and suspended, and I keep it very, very basic. I have experimented with lots of different campaign types, but at the moment, all I'm running is a standard shopping.
Mhm.
Um, but I have split. Each brand has its own campaign with non-branded and branded.
Mhm.
Uh, just because what I did used to do, obviously, like you recommend in the course, with non-branded and branded, just as two campaigns. But I've got the campaigns for each brand, just because I found that a lot of my brands weren't getting any spend whatsoever. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, you're definitely right in that I've never got in any of my in this store or the previous one to 50-50 between branded and non-branded. No.
Right. It's a little bit more difficult in the UK for sure. Have you seen a trajectory in like your branded spend, say for that one big one that you're now importing? Like maybe when you started importing it, it wasn't getting any branded searches. Maybe now it is because of you.
a
Have you
little
noticed
bit
that?
a little bit, yeah, but still I would say, like, yeah, still 90% of our spend is going on non-branded still.
Interesting.
And uh like that product, we don't use the brand name, we just use our name, uh
Yeah, yeah.
because they've said you can be our exclusive supplier. Um, yeah, so Google
Actually,
Ads, we're doing that, but yeah, I do think there's a lot of room for improvement on how I run the Google Ads,
mhm.
and yeah, we're doing good numbers,
Mhm.
and I or my business partner, we haven't taken a single penny out of the business. Everything we put back into it. So we also, I did start doing the SEO myself.
Mhm.
I think a year or so ago, Joe, you posted in the group like some koala package offer, uh,
Yeah.
and so I got that. And in the beginning, I started doing lots of articles, informational articles, and yeah, they got lots of traffic. But what I find is obviously they don't get you any sales. Um,
Well, yeah, you have to. Well, part of the purpose of those back then was to kind of build your authority so
yes.
you rank for the more commercial type pages. But one thing I got to say is with all these Google updates lately and just the way the searches are displaying,
Hmm.
I'm not even looking at SEO anymore. I feel like it's such a time sink,
Right.
and just the volatility of it lately
Yeah.
is insane. I was watching some video last night. I think it was pretty popular. It's kind of going around X a little bit.
Hmm.
You used to be able to use these long tails to target specifically what people were searching for and serve them with that.
Right.
So for the example the video gave, and I'm kind of seeing this myself, is like the person was searching for a thin refrigerator, like a thin mini fridge, and the organic result, the paid results were like on point with what the search intent was, like actually showing like thin mini fridges in the shopping. But the organic results were like, you click through them, there's no thin mini fridges. It's just like regular mini fridges. So the theory was that they're actually making the results worse so that people they're just training people to click the ads. I think that's definitely the direction they're pushing in. So I don't know.
Yeah, because I see, like, I think I saw also on X that they're doing shopping overviews now. Like, you get the AI overview.
Yeah, everything
Shopping
is
overview. I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Like what?
I haven't seen it on Google yet, but I saw a screenshot someone put up. So it does like a little overview above the shopping. So yeah, AI is taking over.
They're just trying so hard to not get you to go to the organic.
Yeah.
Whatever they got to do to keep you away from that. So
yeah, organic traffic is I think falling by the wayside a little bit. And yeah, I told Joe this yesterday, but I think we should do a reaction video to that video you're discussing, because it is pretty interesting, some of the results that are showing up on Google Organic now. But I do want to pause for a second. This is a good time to let people know we actually have a small micro course available right now on text ads specifically. So you don't have to be a member of anything we do. It's only $3. And this will show you how exactly we run text ads to basically mimic what you would want to do with organic search result SEO, but now you can just do it, with text ads. And this is really the way Google is moving. It's going to be just a lot of pay to play, and especially like, in the UK, or if you have a product that does well with like generic traffic, even with branded traffic, obviously it's good too. But like when you're getting branded conversions and stuff that's happening inside your ads account, that's something you really want to start testing with text ads, because the scalability of that is obviously really, really high. So, I mean, I think we still do okay with SEO in terms of our store and it getting sales, but it's just not as reliable these days. So, yeah, $3 guarantee you'll make at least $3,000 or your money back. It's like less than 30 minutes. So you can go to buildassetsonline.com/goldmine to check that out.
What I will say is I am seeing like some stuff, like I feel like Bing is kind of like how Google used to be with SEO. So I don't know. We'll see what happens after this. What is it called? The trial that Google's doing for their monopoly, which is happening soon.
What is happening with that?
I don't know enough to explain it, but they might get broken up into different entities. So we'll see if
Please, Lord.
We'll see if there's any new opportunities with SEO, if different search engines emerge and become about. The main thing is that they had a contract with Apple to where they paid Apple to be the default search on iPhones. So in Safari, if you type in something into the browser like a search, it's going to default to Google because Google paid Apple to do that. So
is that antitrust?
Yeah, supposedly that was the argument. It was like a monopolistic type practice, but we'll see what happens.
Interesting. So yeah, Keith, I guess you want to talk a little bit about the exclusivity side, and maybe how you were able to pull that off, because I think for a lot of people in the UK and I mean people in the US too, if you can land an exclusivity agreement, like in your case, that's really, you're turning a negative where you have like less brand demand and kind of this import situation, which may not be great. You've turned it into a positive because now you have, a stronghold on that brand. So
so obviously not drop shipping helped a lot. So we ordered in bulk. So I think so far we spent a lot of money. So we've had 2 batches. The first batch was 8 of these. The second was 16. So if you order, obviously you're giving them a lot of cash up front. That helps. And yeah, that's just that brand. However, we do have another brand that's given us exclusivity, and their products we're very excited about because we've sold one of them, and the cost of one is £105,000. And
What?
they have given us exclusivity because this supplier, they just openly admitted they're a team of engineers. They don't know how the internet works. They're like, you do the marketing for us, and we'll make the product.
You said the product was $105,000
Pounds. Yeah.
pounds. How much do you sell it for?
Well, it cost us 80,000. We sold it for 105.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's 20,000 right there.
What's the average salary in the UK?
I think it's about 20 now, 25 maybe.
That's it? Oh, I guess.
Pounds, yeah. It might be higher. I don't
The
know.
average salary in the UK is £25,000. Well,
I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
I'm looking it up. Let's see what the AI overview has to say, or the paid results. But no, all right. So then you made a sale that was worth the average salary of a,
or at least minimum salary. I don't know.
But yeah, so you didn't have exclusivity with that brand until you started importing, or did you import that?
Yeah, there's two separate brands I'm talking about there. Yeah, we did
The first one you imported a bunch of stuff.
The first one we didn't have exclusivity, and then we basically when we went to see them, we said, "Look, we're selling a lot of your products. We'll import a lot more if you could promise not to let anyone else sell them in the UK." And we kind of agreed on that. Obviously, it's not there's no written agreement, but I do keep, you can do Google image search, and if I see them anywhere else, I'm like straight onto them going, "What's this?" Because I have seen their product on a competitor's website, and they've said, "No, we don't actually supply them." So I think I have seen that a bit where people will blatantly rip your site off and copy stuff and just throw it up. And
yeah, and that's a thing that's part of what Google's cracking down on too with this merchant center stuff. Is like people are kind of scamming in that regard. But yeah, the average salary in the UK is around £36,000 pre-tax.
Huh.
So pre-tax, isn't the tax like 50%?
Depends how much you earn. Yeah, but the first 35, I think, is 20%, and then it goes up levels. So if you earn 40 grand, you get the next bit gets taxed at 35, and then 40, and then 50, and.
But yeah, so I guess you said the store kind of really started kicking off February this year.
No, it was around May.
May.
So yeah, we basically in May I think that's when I put up my first share your wins screenshot, because it was almost 100,000. It was like 98,000 or something. And I think you replied, "That's 100,000 US. That'll do." But yeah, since then, every month hasn't been 100,000, but yeah, close enough. And then this month so far, it's already at 150, and we're halfway through. So I think it's generally trending up. But for me, I'm still working because I'm still kind of paranoid that the bottom could fall out at any moment, and we could get left all this stock, and it's just
Well, hopefully with that agreement, you have a little bit of a moat, especially if that's what you sell a lot of. What are the margins you make on that product now?
So it's about 25%. So if we sell, one of them will go for 5, and we'll make just over 1,000 per unit.
Nice. That's great, man. And yeah, I mean, you've stuck with it a long time. Most people won't do that.
Yeah.
But I guess you said the motivation was just seeing other people do well, and you weren't.
Yeah, that and I did watch a Donald Trump motivational video on repeat quite a lot. Never ever give up. Cheesy, I know, but it did help.
Yeah, no, he
You were
has
like manifesting it. You were like getting it into your subconscious.
Yeah, but it was just really really catchy as well. It's like it's a montage of all his speeches, and then it's got all this uplifting music in the background. And
how old are you?
I'm 40. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
These young kids these days, I think like they go to the gym and that's like what they listen to. They listen to like crazy TikTok mashups of like like motivational stuff.
It's not that.
But
Normally, I'm not into that stuff, but that one struck a chord.
yeah, no, actually, one of his books, I think it's called Think Big and Kick Ass. I think it's one of his more popular books.
Yeah.
It is really kind of a testament to that. And he talks about how at one point he was like in the hole like $1 billion or like many hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
And it just like, yeah, he just kept going and then it came back. And obviously, you know, I don't think people should go that deep into debt, but
No.
yeah, I think again, this game is just sticking with it, and eventually you'll find something that pays off. Joe, you're like hitting your mic, and it's going.
I'm sorry, dude. My cord is so tangled, and I can't figure out how to undo it.
Jesus,
I'll stop. It's insane.
But yeah, so I guess let's get to some questions, and then we'll go from there.
Maybe we should make some of these like manifestation videos for YouTube. Would you listen to a montage of us saying motivational things, Keith?
Of course, yeah. That's
all right.
Do that.
Like ASMR style or no? You want like music in the back? Like what are you looking for?
Yeah, a bit of music and yeah, just a few
like
quotes.
Epic.
Take it easy.
Yeah. That's good. All right. So Alexandre said, what would you recommend for ads if suspended from Google? I tried Bing and noticed lots of add to cart, I guess 30 of them, for only one conversion. So yeah, the thing is with Bing is like, I don't know, I just don't trust it as much because as dishonest as Google is, I think Bing is even worse. The segmentation methods aren't as reliable with Bing. It's not even that much cheaper, even though it should be. And so it's a good platform to just like, take 10-20% of what you're spending on Google, allocate that to a Bing budget, and then just kind of set it and forget it. But if you're suspended from Google, I'm assuming you mean Google Merchant Center. And so if that is the case, then you really do want to be running text ads. Like I said, that's why we put out that Google Ads Goldmine course, just to give people an option for, how do you run text ads? Because that's been an overlooked part of dropshipping for a while. We spend a lot on that. And even, inside of our main program, we have a lot of information on text ads that we put out very recently. I don't know if you've checked that out, Keith, but I would say
I need
could be something you want to look into.
Yeah, I'm slacking on text ads. That's on my to-do list.
Actually, in that video that's inside like the main program, I do look at one of our old stores. I was able to get into the ad account. This is a store we sold for like $650,000, and we had a product that was very similar to what you're talking about. It did really well because it was really low priced for the industry, and so we had generic text ads going for it, and they were working pretty solid. So. Okay. Yeah, we were actually able to put a lot of spend into those types of generic keywords, and it really became a consistent source of revenue. So, yeah, definitely want to give that a look. Litmo said, how do you deal with the price war that often happens when there is no map? What do you think, Keith?
I just wouldn't sell the product. If the margins aren't there, then like we even have it at the moment, where a supplier that we've onboarded recently, they actually sell the products themselves as well, and they give you RRPs, and then they put it on their own website for less. And then, so I obviously threw the products up pretty quickly, matched the prices they sell at, but I don't even run ads on them because I don't want to get involved in that. If we get a sale, great. And we've sold 2 of them already, but it's just organic. I wouldn't run ads on anything that the margins aren't good on.
Yeah. So in the US, RRP is MSRP.
Right.
But yeah, so that's definitely I mean, we deal with that too. We have products that have no map. You good, Joe?
I'm tired. Yeah.
This is what happens when
I'm spazzing
you
out
have
today.
10 kids, no sleep, 10 assets to manage. You know, there's a lot on our plate. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, we have products that they have no map, and we don't really run ads either. Maybe we do like some really, really light ads, and it is useful sometimes because like I literally just set the price at something that's like, all right, we won't lose. So we don't get sales very much, but oftentimes if we get sales, it's good. But it's also like a complementary product to other stuff that we sell. And I think it helps us get sales, or if, for example, you're selling something and it's out of stock, you could at least have that as like an alternative for somebody. But yeah, I think obviously if the margins are just bad, then don't do it. We have a fellow in the UK also who he's not importing, he's not doing like exclusive stuff, but he does really well with a couple brands. We've been trying to get him on, but he's a cheeky lad.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I think also like if you can somehow differentiate your offer, so whether that means including some sort of free accessory, or I guess that's really like the best option, because then you're creating a unique offer in the marketplace, and people may not be like price shopping that rigorously. This is good price, I'm getting this with it. And when your product page is good, it outlines the shipping details, it outlines more information than your competitors, then that's stuff that can help mitigate price. So cool. I guess any final words of motivation, Keith, for those that are struggling? They've listened to the motivational Trump videos a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think like you guys always say, you just keep throwing more slop into the sausage machine. Like add more products, add more brands. Just keep trying different angles. If you need to, obviously, quit, then don't give up completely. Start a new store. But yeah, like you said earlier, it's better to pivot than start completely again. So yeah, keep trying basically, because you never know what product's going to sell until you put it on your store. And you could think the product's not going to sell and be completely wrong.
Amen.
Yeah. I think really all it takes is one good supplier to really change everything. And yeah, you stuck with it for years and years, even dating back to the low ticket stuff. It took a while to get to this point, but then all of a sudden, within a few months span, now you're importing a bunch of products and like you have something really great going. So I hope people can find motivation in that and stay in the game and start making some money in this economy we got here. So I guess with that, we're running low on time. I got a hard stop. Joe's about to shut off mentally. So, and I appreciate you making it happen, Keith.
Appreciate it, Keith.
All your European travels. So yeah, guys, go to buildassetsonline.com/goldmine. $3 micro course, less than 30 minutes on how to run text ads for your business. And we guarantee you make at least $3,000 back, or we'll give you the $3 back. Sorry. So do that. You can take it or leave it.
You can't even get that on a pack of gum, you mother. All right.
Yeah.
Take
it easy.
Take it easy.